How do you get it done correctly? Man sama Ramadan, imanan wa ihtisaban. Right? Imanan wa ihtisaban. If you have the right faith, the right attitude, right intention, that's on the one side. And then the other side is ihtisab, auditing yourself. Watch yourself. Keep a close eye on yourself. You know, like your boss keeps an eye on you? Those of you that have like a possessive boss, like that, keep an eye on yourself. If you can do those two things, then you're doing the fast right. And then you might get out of it the gift of the fasting. The gift, what you get at the end of it all, is not Eid. The gift at the end of fasting is taqwa. It's taqwa. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the relationship between fasting and taqwa very briefly. I don't want to give you an abstract philosophical conversation. Very realistic, easy to understand, practical connection between fasting and taqwa. Let's just first understand what taqwa is and why I refuse to translate it as fear. I don't agree with the translation that taqwa is fear. The word taqwa in Arabic comes from wiqaya. Wiqaya means protection. Ittiqa or taqwa means to protect yourself. Like, you know, on the day of judgment, everything is flat, you can't hide anywhere, you can't go into a hole, you can't go into a building. Allah Azza wa Jal makes it all flat. وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ. So He says, وَكَيْفَ تَتَّقُونَ إِن كَفَرْتُمْ يَوْمَ يَجْعَلُ الْوِلْدَانَ شِيبًا. How are you going to protect yourself if you disbelieve? The day on which even babies are their hair is going to turn gray. How are you going to protect yourself? So the word taqwa Allah uses in the meaning of protecting yourself. So when we say have taqwa of Allah, you know what it means? Protect yourself from disappointing Allah, from making Allah angry, from displeasing Allah. Protect yourself from that. Protect yourself from becoming a loser. Allah says, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارِ. He doesn't just say have taqwa of Allah. He says, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارِ الَّتِي أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. Protect yourself from the fire. Not just fear the fire. And here's the other reason I refuse to translate it as fear. We actually heard the Imam, it's interesting, I was going to use these ayat anyway, and the Imam recited it in the witr prayer. Shaitan tells the human being, ukfur, disbelieve. فَلَمَّا كَفَرْ. And when he does disbelieve, what does he say? إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِنْكَ. I have nothing to do with you, bro. You did that all on your own. You can go further, you ain't my bro, right? But what does he say after that? إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهَ رَبَّ الْعَالَمِينَ. I'm afraid of Allah. The word khawf, I have no problem translating as what? Fear. So even shaitan has khawf. We have khawf too, but we have something above and beyond khawf, which is taqwa. Let's understand that a little bit. The bank robber is afraid of the police or no? He's afraid of the police. He's still robbing the bank, isn't he? He is. Fear is not enough to not make you a criminal. Even the criminal is afraid of the authorities. You go a step further and you protect yourself from doing crime. You stop yourself. Taqwa includes the fear and what you do as a result of that fear. You know, the one who's afraid of the cop is going to stop at the red light. He still has khawf, right? But the criminal, who is afraid, his heart is pounding too when the cops are running after him. But he didn't protect himself. He didn't do the right thing. You follow? So taqwa is more than just fear. It asks for more. Now Allah says the purpose of fasting is taqwa. The thing of it is, you and I have to we have to behave a certain way throughout our waking day. And we have opportunities to obey Allah and we have opportunities to disobey Allah. And these opportunities, sometimes everybody's watching us, sometimes nobody's watching us. What you're listening to on the radio in your car, nobody knows but you and Allah. There's a couple of recording services Allah has installed on your shoulders. Other than that, nobody knows what's going on. Who you're talking to on the phone, nobody maybe know. What you wipe from the cache or the history of your web browser, nobody knows. Right? It's only between you and Allah, that's it. Nobody else. How you're dealing with people at work, nobody knows. Just you and Allah, nobody else knows. And a lot of times we're not aware, we don't feel that, the Muslim even fails to realize all the time that Allah is watching. That I should be careful. We lose consciousness of that. What happens in fasting is, you're fasting, it's hot, it's Texas after all. 100 degrees, 50 days now with one day off? 50, 60 days, 100 degrees or more? So when we fast, and especially those of you that go to work and come out, you sit in the car until the AC kicks in or whatever, you can feel the fast, you can feel the thirst. Whether you want to or not, your body will be screaming for water. Whether you're going to drink or not. And actively your body is asking you to disobey Allah. Your body and mine, as we are fasting and we feel hunger and thirst, our body is yelling at us to disobey Allah. And we keep telling our body, no, Maghrib, no. We have this conversation inside our body the entire day. And you're actively protecting yourself from making Allah unhappy. Even if you forget, your body doesn't let you forget. Even if you forget that, I'm fasting, your hunger will remind you that you're fasting. And then you'll have to literally tell your stomach, no, not right now. 2 more hours. You hold on. This is training. Because after this, right now our body is making us calling for something, and even the halal things we have to stop ourselves from. After this training month is over, Allah says, go back, you can have these halal things, but this training should help you now stay away from what? The haram things. وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةِ. And training is really important. Training, when somebody goes to training, they can't even miss a single day. Any of you have been to training? Training is a very concentrated program, right? They have 10 days, 20 days, whatever they have, and you cannot miss a single day. You'll be disqualified from the program. So what used to be the case is before Ramadan was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ used to fast. Even before Ramadan came down. And Allah calls them ayyaman ma'dudat. Few days. Ma'dudat jam'u qilla bil arabiyya, yani less than 10. There was few days. Middle 3 days of the month, or up to 9 days, etc., etc. And at that time, if you miss a fast, then you had 2 options. The option was you should make it up, or you can feed the poor. عَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. Then Allah revealed Ramadan. Now Ramadan is not a few days. How many days is it? 30 days. So it's already harder. It's already harder. And if you miss a fast for some reason, you got sick, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا, or you're traveling, أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. If you're traveling, then now you don't have 2 options, you only have 1 option, you have to make it up. What was the other option? You could feed the poor. That option is no longer there. The fuqaha talk about exceptional cases, but generally you and I don't have that option. I'm not in the mood to fast, I'll just feed somebody. No, you don't have that option anymore. So first of all, there are more days now. And second of all, it's harder because you can't take a day off, and if you take a day off, you have to make it up. So it's tougher. And at the end of all of that Allah says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرِ. Allah wants ease for you. Wait a second, Allah just made this harder, and then He says He wants ease for you. SubhanAllah. And you know what, for you and me, when Allah says that, we're thinking, yeah, but it's summer. But you know what, think when this ayah was revealed. The hot summers of Mecca and Medina, no SUVs with air conditioning, no central, climate control. They don't have even fans running for them with electricity. They're literally under the sun the entire day. You and I go for 20 minutes outside, what happens? Oh my God, I have a headache, I can't do anything today. These Sahaba are fasting, they're fasting in Medina, and at that time, SubhanAllah. And Allah says to them, no, this is easy for you. I want things to be easy for you. You know what that means? That means as hard as this is, I want that you learn to have taqwa. You should get taqwa out of fasting. And if you get taqwa out of fasting, you will have a really easy life later. A little bit of training here, and you'll get what you should out of, in this world, the thing you will need is taqwa. If you get that out of here, then what is coming for you permanently? Jannah. And what's Jannah? Al-Yusr. And if you don't get taqwa here, what's coming later on? You think this is hard? This is nothing compared to what's coming. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمْ الْعُسْرِ. He doesn't want hardship for you. He wants good things for you. So this is the first thing I wanted to share with you, the physical connection, the conditioning Allah is doing between fasting and taqwa. I know the Prophet tells us, ﷺ, our fasting is of the eyes also, of the tongue also, of where we go also, of how we deal with other people also, of our anger also. Our fasting is of many things. But the minimum training, not everybody will have that kind of fast. There will be people who when they're fasting, their hunger kicks in, and they, some of you, when you get hungry, you get really cranky too. Right? So you're like extra snappy with your wife, or you get mad at the kids, hey, you're running again, or something, right? And then you say, why are you so angry? Because I'm fasting. It's supposed to be the opposite, man. It's supposed to be when you're fasting, you're supposed to be more patient. You're supposed, Allahumma inni sa'im. I'm fasting. I'm not going to say anything, even if people are insulting you. But I'm not even talking about that higher level. I'm saying even if you just listen to what Allah is saying, just abstaining from food, just that much in and of itself, the point of it is to get taqwa out of it. The last thing I'll say about it before I go to the next ayah. The last thing. This is really important. I want you to compare two people in your mind. There are two people. They want to grow a tree, or they want to grow a flower. Both of them have the equal patch of land. Same exact amount of sun comes to that land. They put water on it. They put, they put fertilizer, everything. They take care of it. They rake it every day. The soil is good, and it's getting enough water, everything. Except one of them put a seed inside, and the other one didn't put a seed inside. Okay? They're doing the same exact amount of work. But there's one of them that's going to get something out of it, and the other one? Nothing. He's doing the same work. He's doing the same exact work, he gets nothing out of it. What I'm saying to you is, if you and I have the intention of getting taqwa out of Ramadan, and then we work, we're going to fast anyway, it's going to be hard anyway, you're going to go through it anyway. If you have that intention, you'll get the flower out of it. When you don't have that intention, you'll go on the diet plan, and most of you end up gaining weight anyway in Ramadan. Right? Because everything you eat at the end of the day is like super fried, and that's when then qiyam becomes difficult because of what you ate, right? Subhanallah. The first half of the day you cannot stand up because you didn't eat. The next half of the day you can't stand up because of what you ate. So, right? That's what ends up happening with a lot of you. But the point I'm saying is, plant the seed. And I'm saying this, I'm like, brother, why didn't you say that in the beginning of Ramadan? Al-a'mal bi khawatimiha aydan. The deeds are also judged not just by their intentions, but by their final intent. By their final intent. So it's not over yet. You could still fix it. Still good. So that's one. Now I told you when Allah mentioned fasting, He mentioned the purpose of fasting. The goal is taqwa. But that's not what He said about Ramadan. Usually when you and I think of fasting, we just think Ramadan. Ramadan fasting, same thing. Allah made a distinction. And whenever somebody says Ramadan, what's the first thing that comes in my head? Fasting. So, that's what comes in my head. Allah says, شهر رمضان الذي تصومون فيه ما قال ذلك شهر رمضان الذي ينزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is the one in which the Qur'an was revealed. The first thing Allah wants you and me to know about Ramadan is what? That it's the month of Qur'an. Fasting has its own purpose. It was already there before Ramadan. But this month, especially, what makes it special, it's like you're also even fasting in this month in celebration of some great event, and that great event is that the Qur'an came down in this month. It's because of the Qur'an we're fasting in this month. And then Allah praises the Qur'an, هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. Man, he just, subhanAllah, he dedicates the first chunk of this ayah just to talk about how great the Qur'an is. So our mind this month, I know it's a lot on the fasting, but you know what it's supposed to be on? On the Qur'an. Why? Allah says in the beginning of this surah, this is Surah al-Baqarah, same surah, He says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. All of you know this. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Okay. You and I want to get guidance from the Qur'an. The Qur'an came in the month of Ramadan. Allah says, I will not guide with the Qur'an except people who have what? Taqwa. Fast, so you can get what? Taqwa. And now listen to Qur'an so it can guide you. Because if you listen to the Qur'an without taqwa, it's not going to help you. Subhanallah, look at how complete the training month is, right? First you got to get the prerequisites. The prerequisite for guidance is taqwa. Do that in the fasting. Now that you're done with that in the fasting, you got a little fresh, now stand in front of Allah in salat and listen to Qur'an, because now you can appreciate Allah's guidance. What a comprehensive training.